Hello, language lovers and panda lovers. Welcome back to my channel. Today I promise you to do a more concise video with a lot of condensed, very interesting information and a great secret tip how to learn vocabulary effectively and with a lot of fun. Let's start. So here you see the page of Wiktionary, and you see it is existing in a lot of languages, English being the biggest one, but also having other big variations. My advice for you is to always use the English version. I will tell you in a minute why that is. You see, it is always also quite bigger than all the other versions, but that is not the only reason. What is important for you to know from the beginning is that the English Wiktionary is not just for English words, but it is a universal dictionary for all words explained in English. So let's dive in. Let's say you're an English speaker and you are learning basic German, and you have, for example, we could make a lot of examples, I think thousands of them. Let's just take Baum, tree. Between Baum and tree there is no obvious connection. So let's see if the Wiktionary can help us. Okay, we go to English etymology. And here we see, oh my god, it is connected with English beam. Wow, that is a great revelation. We would never have guessed about that in the first place, because it's not the same word, the meaning is a bit different, but it makes so much sense that it's an extremely strong association. Okay. Now we have established that, and let's now change here to the German version, and we would suppose that the article should be as good or even better than the English one, but unfortunately is not. You see, even here, origin, word origin, there's nothing we can use. And also, by the way, I tried to change that. I tried to work in that sector to help the German Wiktionary, but they didn't want that kind of work even when it was scientifically founded. They said it's too much, we don't want all this etymology, though they just did not allow my changes. And then I said, okay, then goodbye, I will not help you anymore, and I'm just interested in the English Wiktionary. So in a lot of cases the English Wiktionary will be best, but I obviously don't want to say that the other versions are useless. Sometimes you can find very interesting, useful information in other language versions that the English Wiktionary does not have. Okay, now we are back in the English Wiktionary, and I want to tell you another difference. So when you are an English speaker and you want to learn the German word Schiff, then you don't have to look Schiff up, because it is just too obvious, you know. 99% of us will just understand the connection without looking it up. But yeah, when your brain is in holiday for the moment, you can just also look it up, and then you can say, ah yeah, of course, why didn't I see it myself? And what's also very useful in any language learning is to try to see the patterns between the differences, because those patterns are often systematic. You know, English ship is with P and German Schiff is with F, and this change from P to F, you have a lot between English and German. It's always the same pattern. But let's go on to another example. I don't want to stick with German always. Let's say you are learning Spanish as an English speaker, and you are also going to learn árbol, the tree. Let's see what we can find. First of all, we scroll down. Those are smaller languages of the Hispanic Peninsula, and we go to Spanish etymology. Still not very helpful, but let's go to the mother word, let's say the Latin arbor, the tree. And here it's still not so helpful for most of us. Please don't get frustrated, don't be afraid of the linguistic language. We just scroll on, and then that's going to be interesting and very helpful. So let's just scroll up, and there we see, oh my god, there's even an English word, arbor. Me personally, as a non-native speaker, I didn't know that. It's not, at least not in my active vocabulary. But for native speakers, or if you just learn that word, this is a great memory bridge. And what's also very important to mention, it does not matter at all if the linguistic connection is always really established. You know, linguistic is also about not knowing a lot of things. Languages developed in thousands of years, and it can also be that we don't know a thing, or we can just make a good guess, but we are not sure. So it does not matter at all if it's just only connected to herb or connected to herb and arbor, and how exactly is the connection. For us, it is important that the connection sticks, that the anchor is anchored, and that's what this connection does. For me, I would scroll down a bit and I see derived terms. Oh, Ann Arbor, I happen to know that because a lot of books are published there. But again, language learning is so subjective, so if you don't know Ann Arbor, have never heard it, it's quite a small town, I think, in America, then perhaps you know one of the other terms from your field of expertise. And if that doesn't help, you scroll down and you see the arboretum. Perhaps you know that because you have that collection of trees in your city. And we can continue scrolling down. And here's quite a surprise. Indonesian also has a word like that. It's a borrowed word, very interestingly, coming from English. And that is a very important point. So it tells us that you can also use this method sometimes for not related languages like Indonesian and English. We will come back to that in the end. But now let's scroll down a bit more. We come back to Latin. Scroll down more. And here we see the descendants. So the, let's say, daughter and son words of Latin, mostly in the Romance languages, of course. We see here in Italian it's arbore. In French is arbre, would be the same in modern French. And here's also an interesting hint again. There are borrowings even in non-Romance languages, in the Slavic languages, and also in the not at all related Hungarian language. So as I said, for Indonesian, go for whatever you have. If you are a native Hungarian speaker, oh my god, then you can use a great connection. So this is all about the tree example. And now let's go the other way around. Let's say you are a German speaker and you want to learn the English word bone, but Bone in German is Knochen, and you don't see any obvious connection. So you just open this page for bone, and you see it only takes seconds, and you see a very interesting connection, because bone and Knochen are not connected, but bone and German Bein, meaning leg, are. This is super fascinating. And again, it does not hurt that the significance of the word, the meaning changed a bit. The connection is still very obvious and actually very impressive. So we said we are still struggling with our Knochen because we don't see a connection to English. Sometimes the connection is a bit secret, and now we just open the page for Knochen, and immediately we get very interesting information. In English we have knuckle. This is also a very good connection. Yeah, Knochen is not the easiest word for English speakers to learn, but when you have knuckle, then it gets a bit easier. And we can play this game on and on. I think it's a lot of fun. It's really insightful. When we go to knuckle, we see it is related to German Knöchel, meaning ankle or knuckle. So, wow, so much. And also we have a tasty roast knuckle here in this picture. So much about the closely related languages. But as I promised you, we also want to talk about the less related languages and the not related languages in the end of this video. So let's go to Russian дерево, also meaning tree. So here we also see an interesting etymology. Of course, the Slavic languages like Russian are also Indo-European, though we have a connection here to English tree. And now this is a very important point. Of course, we don't want to get too scientific. If you think this connection is too weak for you, the similarities are not strong enough for you, then leave it and look for another great association, be it scientifically proven or not. Just make up a free association or whatever. But if you think, yeah, now that they pointed out, I think there is a similarity and it helps me to memorize this Russian word, then go for it. It's all up to your individual preferences. In the end, let's go to a completely unrelated language. There's no genetic relationship between them. They are from different language families, English and Chinese. But interestingly, we are in a globalized world, so there are still a lot of loanwords, borrowed words, whatever. So here you see there's a quite new word for bus in Mandarin, coming from Cantonese, from Hong Kong, from the British colonial era, and it is ba shi. And you can hear it's quite similar as it gets with the Chinese pronunciation system. So why not use also this for your advantage? Of course, for most Chinese words you won't find that thing, but it doesn't mean that there are not quite a few words that really have a connection with other languages. So also interesting, there's also a Japanese word coming from English. I'm not going to pronounce that because I don't know Japanese, but this also proves my point. Don't say just, oh, the language is not related. I will not even look for cognates. Okay, we are coming to the end of this video, and I'm very happy to have you here on my channel. Please like and subscribe and tell me in the comments what you think about this method, when it's useful for you, when you say no, I cannot use it, and let's discuss it in the commentaries. Thank you.
Land pandas on a language expedition. He's out for a fascinating like a full ration of the most tasty bamboo, tracking vocab treasures without any taboo. Wiktionary is a beacon lighting up our way, where roots and meanings tango, they are here to stay. A Wiktionary like a warm sunbeam, connecting worlds together, easy like a dream. A word's not just a word, it's a world to unfold. Like panda finds connections, every meaning turns to gold. From Chinese to Spanish and German galore, every etymology opens up a new door. No borders, no limits, just no bridges we build. I tell you, my friends, borrowed learning is killed. It's not just a resource, it's a time machine, bringing history and culture right on the screen. Like panel leaps through knowledge like a wordy ballet, feasting through the specialties in the linguistic buffet. Scatter English with Swahili and toss in spicy Thai, mix some Finnish with Korean and give it a try. The patterns emerge like constellations at night. Wiktionary's the compass guiding us right. A Wiktionary like a warm sunbeam, connecting worlds together, easy like a dream. A word's not just a word, it's a world to unfold. One panda finds connections, every meaning turns to gold. One panda digs deeper, finding meanings untold, relishing in the stories that each word holds. One panda, learn with me and you'll be a language panda. One panda, learn with me and you'll be a black